Is the sheep preaching hate when he says, I'm not going to let the wolf eat me anymore? If the wolf comes in here, next time he comes in here, I'll do whatever I have to do to keep him off my back. Is the sheep violent or is the wolf the violent one? He wasn't teaching hate, he was teaching common sense. You know, somebody's knocking you over the head, stop them. Do whatever you have to do to stop them. You know, the ones that were knocking him over the head were afraid of the fact that he might swing back. So they said, no, he's teaching hate, he's violent.
Position. I think I just named it. Dealing with these particular things, right? Let's go ahead and get it. Now, we place a bit of that audio, in which he barely even spoke on the situation. In fact, he cut out early, okay, before he actually could tell the intricate details of what was going on. But also, there was no actual tangible proof and evidence or receipts at all, right? At all. There was none. None actually surfaced, okay? And as he talks about this particular meeting that he had with Mitchell, right? Talks about this meeting that he had with Mitchell, and he talks about how Mitchell was taking a certain position and he treated him like a son. My thing is this, right? Wickedness is wickedness. You see how they'll play on it, right? Your natural family, if you see something wrong with them, he tells you to immediately cut them off. But if somebody's within his camp, right, and disagrees with his position, you don't have a choice to disagree. You don't have a choice to cut them off. You don't have a choice to stop tuning in and listening. You understand what I'm saying? The only options you have is to agree or say nothing else. You understand what I'm saying? You have to submit. That's it. Now, we're going to shed some light on this Ohio situation. Now, we're going to move on to the next topic. We're going to shed some light on this Ohio situation. And you got to know who we're dealing with when it comes to this guy named Jemaine West. Now, Jemaine West, right? I know him. I fellowship with Jemaine. You understand what I'm saying? Now, Jemaine, I've been out to Ohio at least on a few occasions, right? In regards to fellowship. And Jemaine did not come off to me as being somebody who was a bad person, who was a bad guy, who was somebody who could not control his drinking habits, who was just this shit individual. But also, of course, Mother Beasley was still around during that time. And of course, Mother Beasley was a gem of a person. She was just this beacon of light. You understand what I'm saying? Mother Beasley was an older woman who's just like anybody's big mama. You know what I mean? When you see Mother Beasley, she was like a big mama to you. You get what I'm saying? Just beautiful spirited. To learn about a lot of the stuff that Jemaine has done to his big mama. And yes, we will be inviting people on live tonight. Yeah, absolutely. We'll drop the link. Let me breeze through this Ohio situation real quick, enlighten the people, break some scales off the minds real quick, some chains off the minds, and we're going to go ahead and drop the link. But my thing is this, right? With Mother Beasley, with this whole situation, it is disheartening to know that upon her close to passing, okay? Now let me fill you guys in. Jemaine himself was just a single man. Not by, I guess he claimed it was by choice. You understand what I'm saying? But I got reports that he would be cutting this homosexual guy's hair in his house, right? He said he'd been in the pen with him, been in prison with him, and he met him in prison. And this guy was homosexual, okay? He was LGBTQ. But they talk about me, right? Why they got men who are in positions of leadership who cut the hairs of some of these members of the LGBTQ community. And if you're part of that community, you're in my chat. Listen, I agree with biblical principles. Okay, so just whatever, you know what I mean. My thing is this, right? He used to cut this individual's hair, right, on a weekly basis, right? He didn't take a position that Dow would tell you to take. He knew him from prison. I wonder how well he knew him from prison. I wonder how well. I'm curious about that. But not only that, it's disheartening to find out that during this time where he was supposed to be caring for Mother Beasley on a high level, that he wound up selling her house. Her house was sold. You understand what I'm saying? Sold to banks. He refied the home. refinanced the home, and he put it on a perpetual level. So meaning once it was sold, it was going to be sold, right? Once she passed away, that house, the bank gets to keep it. He refied the home for around, I believe, 300K. He refied the home for around that amount, and he actually took the money, right, the proceeds, and a lot of it he blew it on women. He blew it on a particular woman. Okay, he blew it on a particular woman, and that woman was taking him for all that he had, in which Mother Beasley didn't really have any real knowledge of what he was doing. Okay, now my thing is this, right? He kept her in the dark. He refied her home. It was an older home that's been around for a while over in Ohio, right? Older home. Still has some good bones about it. You just need a little bit of remodeling and it'll have been fine. He refied the home. He said he bought a new hot water heater. He did a few things for the home, but he never truly repaired the home, right? He never actually repaired it. He just was acting as though he was actually doing something, but he wasn't. Okay. Now, this is just credible sources that actually have witnessed what he was doing, in which Mother Beasley had to contact a few folks to have a little bit of help with the situation because she didn't know what was happening. She just knew that he refied the home. This is him here. Okay. She just knew that he refied the home. Just to give you guys some context as to who this fella is. Listen, he's using AI photos, AI generated photos, because he has this certain perception of himself that's not real. In fact, look at this. Why are you using AI generated photos to try to make yourself look like something that you're not? Bro, you're pudgy. You understand what I'm saying? Look at him. He looks like he's supposed to be some fit guy. Now, he spends a lot of time in the gym. I don't know how, right? Because it doesn't reflect in his physique. As much time as he spent in the gym, you would think that he'd have a physique like this, right? You'd think that this is how he looks. No, this is AI, y'all. You think this is how he looks. This is not how he looks. He spends a lot of time in the gym. I wonder what type of time he's spending in the gym. And why is he there? Because he's still pudgy. You understand what I'm saying? He's still a pudgy guy. So now this guy, Jemaine, and the reason why he's wound up on the shit list is because not only is he an abuser, he's a drunk, right? And not only that, he's one of these false and fake macho men, so-called, right? Wannabe, I'm a manly man. Wannabe. You understand what I'm saying? Want to just say stuff and do stuff based on oh, there he is. No, that ain't him. That ain't him. I'm trying to show you guys how pudgy he is. He's still pudgy. I'm not too sure as to why he's using this AI. You understand what I'm saying? That's not how he look. But Mother Beasley, where is she at? These guys, there's the so-called tech team minus Elder Becker back there, minus Elder Becker and who else? These two, Victor and Bell. This is his so-called tech team, and yeah, not so tech team. Okay, not too sure as to why he has a whole tech team, but they're worthless. Honestly, they're absolute trash. Now, this is Mother Beasley. Y'all see how tight her lips are? You see how tight her mouth is? Do you think that she wanted to actually take this photo with him? Look how tight. She's like, man, come on, bro. Deacon Josh. Okay. Yeah. Deacon Josh is going as well. You see that she's not looking too excited about this photo. You understand what I'm saying? But that's Mother Beasley, sweet Mother Beasley. That's the reason why I really wanted to go in high on fellowship. She reminded me of my big mama. You understand? I wanted to go just to really fellowship with Mama Beasley, because man, she reminded me of my big mama. Absolutely love Mama Beasley. And Jemaine was cool. He was cool. You know what I'm saying? At the time. Now, I'm going to get into what I'm talking about here today and why I'm bringing up Jemaine. Why am I bringing up Ohio? Why? What's going on? Now, this is going to take me probably a span of a couple streams here. I'm not going to divulge it all right now, but, I got more receipts to pull. I got more evidence to bring you, but this is just the surface of what I got for you, okay? This is just the start. This is a testimony, and I got to dig deeper into getting more testimony, right? And I'm not going to be able to present that here today because I'm still actually putting pieces together for the second part of this Straitway, Ohio abuse or, you know, situation. You know, YouTube, they're gonna get mad at me for using that word. Y'all already know. So but oh well. Either way. Now, Jemaine, his background, you know, he served time in prison because he actually shot somebody. I believe passed away. They did die. Jemaine shot them. They passed away, and I believe he got out at some point, right? Or maybe he got off because it was like self-defense or whatever it may be. But he was actually arrested for battery. Let me show you guys this real quick, so you don't think that I'm blowing hot air, right? Let me go ahead and pull this report. We got receipts. We got receipts, y'all. We got receipts. Now, Jemaine was arrested for shooting this guy. You understand what I'm saying? Now, this is his report. Just so we'll have context, okay? It says shooting by neighbor Jemaine West. He was 23 at the time, okay? And he shot this man, right? And this is what you know, getting down. Now, my thing is this, right? Shooting by neighbor Jemaine West, 23, right? Burstock apartment D, leaves Andrew Claude, 17. The person was 17 at the time. Wow. You're some big man shooting a 17-year-old. Wow, you such a badass, Jemaine. You shot a 17-year-old boy. Oh, wow. He paralyzed him, right? Paralyzed. West is charged with felonious assault. Now, it's not funny that he's paralyzed. It's not funny that you shot a 7, but it's funny to brag about it, okay? That is what's interesting. To go on to brag about shooting another individual and telling your false shepherd, your false pastor, that if he needs you to do anything to somebody, guess what? You did it before and you do it again. To have rhetoric like this come out of your mouth. This is the type of men you're dealing with. Men who shoot 17-year-old children, right? And brags about it years later, right? Who's charged with felonious assault. And they brag about shooting a 17-year-old and paralyzing them. You understand what I'm saying? Know that I'm not saying this for no reason. Let me go ahead and pull the receipts on that, just so you guys will know. Let's listen in as to what Jemaine had to say in regards to his heroism, right? And his boastfulness and his, how bad he is. What a badass to shoot a 17-year-old, right? And paralyze him. You paralyze a 17-year-old boy, and you think that this is something to brag about. You think this is something to brag to these brothers about. Like you just some, oh my gosh. Like you're just this hitman. Like you just hitter, you just shooter. Like nobody should be messing with you, huh? Because of the simple fact that you would do something to them. You did it before. Man, let's go ahead and listen to this audio, y'all. All right. Let's go. Let's listen to what he had to say. Make sure. So this is Jemaine West.
You gotta let me know. Not here, but you listen. But when mother comes down, and this man opened up his, he said, "No, she ain't going nowhere from my house." I said, "You know what? I'm done with y'all. Y'all ain't got during the thing that nobody can say, Pastor, you'll be the witness to this. Have I not told you many a times, Pastor? I've done it before and I'll do it again. Let me know who I need to put a bullet in." Oh, no.
Can y'all hear that okay? Because I'm hearing the volume is extremely low. All right, so let me see what I can do about that. Can it be heard? He did 8 years in prison. That's right. So you hear him bragging in this audio, okay? Now my audio, my video, this is all up 100. Let me see if I can do something in my back end. Y'all tell me if you can hear that just fine, right? This is a man who shot a 17-year-old and paralyzed him, okay? And he's bragging about what he did to the rest of these brothers, and he calls on Pastor Dow and says, "Hey, haven't I told you many times before that I've done it before and I'll do it again? Let me know who I need to put a bullet in." This is what he says. This is the rhetoric he's spitting, okay? Now, heard the audio just low, okay? Okay. Unrepented devil. Yes, absolutely. Jemaine West. This is Jemaine West talking after 8 years of prison, paralyzing a young boy, right? Paralyzing this young boy. You understand what I'm saying? Bragging about it in the dining hall in front of a so-called pastor. You understand what I'm telling you? Who's glorifying the behavior. Obviously, he ain't checked him. Obviously, he ain't told him he needs to be in a converted mind, having a converted heart. All of the other shit that he talks about with us, who's exposing his wicked tail. Everything he talks about with us, who over here, who is exposing his wicked tail. Why he ain't telling Jermaine the same thing? Why is Jermaine able to run rampant and do all of this abusive stuff to these people that are up there in Ohio who rely on him for leadership? Why is he able to do it? I'm going to play it one more time for you guys, because this is absolutely disheartening. This is gut wrenching. This is what you got to focus. This is what you got to pay attention to. And this is what you got to look forward to when it comes to this particular ministry. It's men who get to talk like this, right? In a threatening manner and not be checked. And not be saying, hey, you need to repent, brother. Nothing being checked at all. And telling him to pipe it down. Well, this is funny to them. This is laughable. This 17-year-old boy being paralyzed. Right? He shot the boy. Let's continue.
And this man opened up he said, no, she ain't going nowhere from my house. I said, you know what? I'm done with y'all. Y'all ain't got you're in the thing that nobody can say, Pastor, you'll be the witness to this. Have I not told you many a times, Pastor? I've done it before and I'll do it again. Let me know who I need to put a bullet in. Oh, no.
My thing is this, right? It don't take much to shoot a 17-year-old boy. He out here shooting YNs, right? And then saying a whole lot of people will talk a whole lot of stuff. You got to understand the intimidation factor, right? Oh, I'm the real man. I can really do it. I really did it. I did 8 years. All I need is money on my books. I'll do it again. Listen, my thing is this, right? These are usually mostly the cowards who speak. They're not going to tell you the full story. While you're sitting there laughing, while they're kikiing, you're not going to know that, of course, when I pull the records, when the records have been pulled, shout out to Elder Chris Paul. Shout out to the brethren who want to reveal the truth. Shout out to those who do the actual work to bring you the truth. You understand what I'm saying? My thing is this. When I'm showing you that this individual who just got done speaking about shooting a person, they shot a minor, and they paralyzed this minor, right? Destroying their life. There's no telling what this minor had in his future. You understand what I'm saying? But you're paralyzing a 17-year-old minor child, and you're bragging about it years later after serving 8 years for that. I'm going to make it big. You got to understand what age he was. He was 23 years old when he did it, okay? And when he shot this young boy, right, he shot him that boy was 17, as you can see right here. That young boy was 17 years old when he was shot and paralyzed. You understand what I'm saying? Not only that, he got charged with felonious assault and had to serve 8 years, right? This is what he had to do. Assault and battery, deaths, shootings. Now, domestic violence, sex crimes, okay? Subject, shooting, police, Columbus, assault and battery, death shootings. Wow. So domestic violence and sex crimes, child abuse. Okay. Child abuse. That's a huge one. Ethnic intimidation. Now, this is a lot, right? This is a lot of violent situations going on here. A lot of violence happening here. And you sit there and laugh with them about it, okay? This is an article that was written back in 1993. Shit, damn, wow, he was doing some wickedness back then, huh? I'm gonna let you know why this is relevant. But dang, I was like 2 years old. This boy was out here being a menace. You know what I mean? An absolute menace. You see, he had 6 sex crimes. You see that there's on a child. You see that. You see domestic, right? You see assault and battery. You understand what I'm saying? Death shootings. He served 8 years. He served 8 years. So this is what's in his spirit. This is his rap sheet. This is what's in his spirit. This is what's in his heart. Not only that, years later, he comes back and he brags about it, boasts about it, laughs about it with other individuals. You got to understand this person. Wicked, demonic, unrepentant heart. You understand what I'm saying? Not only that, right? We're going to go into some more accounts. This is recent, okay? As far as 2024. My apologies. 2024. I'm going to show you and share you guys an email that was sent. This is an email, right? And we got to understand the first line, the tagline that's coming in. Okay, this is what makes it even worse. We're gonna make matters worse here. Okay, we got an active predator, an active predator who wants to not only show levels of what he would do to other individuals. What are you down on the land? You and your family. You piss off Dow enough, and he sent his hitter Jemaine West after you. All he needs is money on his books. We wind up missing, right? Somebody who's willing to murder for this man. You got to understand the level of disregard for the Most High, the disregard of the commandments, right? Thou shalt not what? Murder. He wouldn't have no problems or quarrels with murdering somebody who's talking bad about his so-called shepherd, his master pastor down. He would have no issues with eliminating them, right? And taking them off this planet and violating and in breach of Yah's law. He will go to hell for Dow. And this is what he's bragging about. This is what he's laughing about, is that he's willing to sacrifice his very soul. He's willing to go to hell for this guy Dow. And this is what you got to look forward to, that somebody would have this same mindset based on influence, based on being encouraged to sacrifice their very soul for Dow. This is what you got to look forward to. Good luck, all of you guys who are inquiring about Straitway, and you must love them so much, right? Well, this seems fine. Look at him. He's able to build, and he's talking about the work, and the fruit, and all this. And good luck. Good luck as you have literal individuals who have issues mentally. Not only that, the people who are around there with the security, the guys with the big ass AR-15s that's standing in a tabernacle guarding Dow, right, against you while you're in there trying to praise and worship, right, and find and seek the Most High Yah. You know what's on your mind, right? Yeah. These guys with the AR-15s, majority of them failed the psychological evaluation. Majority of them failed the psychological evaluation, meaning they're on edge, meaning they're not sane. These are people that don't have all the screws. They got a lot of screws loose up top. They get ordered to take you out, to take out the whole crowd, to purge the wickedness out of Israel. Oh, we got to purge the wickedness out of Israel. You might be staring down the barrel of an AR-15, a crappy AR-15 at that, per my brother Daniel. Crappy AR-15. You might be staring down the barrel of a crappy AR-15 that ain't been cleaned in years. I added that part. Yeah, you might be staring down the barrel of a crappy AR-15. Let you speak against him. Let Dow feel like that. Okay, we need to prune this ministry. It's time to prune it a bit. We gotta get some of the fat guys out the way. We gotta get some of your elderly out the way too, and maybe some of them can catch a couple strays. You know what I mean? Go ahead. These individuals have screws loose. They have failed the psychological evaluation, and they are on edge. They will do whatever Dow tells them to do, as you hear per Jemaine West, who will take out you and won't care nothing about his own soul salvation. He would go to hell for Dow. Listen, he said, let me know who it is and I'll do it. This is the type of men that you're dealing with. This is not a joke. He wasn't joking. He was serious. The man's serious. He wants to kiss ass so badly. He wants Dow to see him so loyal, right? And to appear him to be so loyal, he's willing to sacrifice Yah's very law not to commit murder in order for Dow to feel satisfied, to say that he's committed and loyal. Let's go ahead and this is a email that was sent to Becker, Elder Becker. You understand what I'm saying? So this tells you that these people have been notified of the abuse. They have been notified of the things that were going on in Ohio, and they chose willfully not to do anything about it, y'all. They did nothing about it. There was a lot of stuff going on in Ohio. We're going to read about one account right now. And I'll tell you now that this guy, Jemaine, is a menace. He's a menace, literally. He would literally do whatever he feels is whatever he wants. You understand what I'm saying? He's a drunken. He's a drunkard, and he's a menace, right? This is what he is. He's a thug. He's a brute. This is what he is. A track record. He's unrepentant. This is 2024, right? My name is Latricia Harper. I am a single mother of a 10-year-old son. Now, they treat single mothers pretty poorly, as we went over, right, in this ministry. I'm a single mother of a 10-year-old son and a 3-year-old daughter under the leadership of Jemaine West at Straitway, Ohio. I have been a part of Straitway, Ohio for almost 3 years. The reason for this letter is to set myself free from hiding from the truth of how myself and my children have been treated at the hands of Jemaine West, this menace, this brute, this thug, this gangster. You understand what I'm saying? As well as that leak growth and leadership of me and the children. I will honestly admit that through these events, I have learned to trust in Yah and not man. Better take her words for it. Trust in the Most High Yah and not man. That was the message that was sent during that Passover when I told my testimony. You need to trust in Yah. You don't need to trust in Straitway. You don't need to trust in Dow. You don't need to trust in none of these guys, these positions of leadership. Don't trust none of them. Trust in Yah. Trust in Yah, not man. And ultimately seek to please the Most High first. You understand? It's funny how a lot of us learn this lesson, right? We realize that these people that we're trying to be of servitude to, right? We want to learn how to love the Father in the ways that we never were taught from the Christian church. And we fall victim to this. And we have to come back and backtrack and listen. I need to focus and lean on the Father more. Also, not to be afraid of man's faces. Listen, all of you with Down syndrome, with the side effects of Stockholm syndrome and Down syndrome. Listen to this woman. Don't be afraid of a man's faces. Don't be afraid of their faces. Come on out. Say what you got to say. Speak your truth. Support revealing the truth and unrighteousness. Stop trying to speak against it and protect your master Dow. You know what I mean? One last time, which is Stockholm syndrome, right? Look at her. Wisdom. Listen. The man's faces, don't fear it. Why are these women more bold, more brave than a lot of you men out here? This is crazy. As well as not to be afraid of standing up for Yah's righteous laws, right? Absolutely. If the men can't get it done, then the women will. If we can't get it done with the men, then guess what? We'll get it done with the women. They'll have more balls than you. You understand what I'm saying? While you're still typing in my comment section, gay stream. Things like that. Go worry about wearing your Daisy Dukes and slippers in the gym. Then let us real men do the real work and let the real women have more balls than you while you're still dealing with Stockholm syndrome and Dow syndrome. You're still a Dowlite at heart and at mind. You're still afraid of what they're going to do to you. Oh, they're going to pray curses over me. Oh, big goddamn whoop. Right? Oh, well, I guess you better strengthen yourself spiritually. Right? The righteousness of and laws. And examples that are being taught by Pastor Dow, Straitway Ministries as a whole. You understand what I'm saying? So now she's trying to show some honor and respect. I don't blame her. You understand what I'm saying? One evening, Jemaine was chopping veggies in the kitchen on the edge of the table where I was washing dishes, and my son accidentally knocked over the cutting board. Jemaine immediately, you understand? Immediately throws his hands up and in the air, immediately throws his hands up in the air and begins to pace from living room to living room. So he's literally having issues controlling his anger here, right? He's losing his shit. He's pacing back and forth just based on an accident being done. You understand what I'm saying? The child knocked over the cutting board. He's upset. Okay, he's pacing from living room, yelling, screaming. He's yelling, screaming, calling my son stupid, calling him stupid, and going on about how he did it on purpose, and he can't do anything right, and how this is mental abuse. Okay, so how he did it on purpose, he can't do anything right. Okay, I mean, this is a child. I mean, why would you speak to a child like this? This is a child, y'all. This is a child. He did it on purpose. He's stupid. He can't do anything right. This is a child. Why would you speak to a child like this? Right? Right? He needs to get the hell away from him before he kills him. Okay, now that's very interesting because he did shoot a 17-year-old minor, paralyzed him, possibly, I believe so he did shoot a 17-year-old minor. So those aren't empty threats, right? And we just got done hearing him brag about how he would shoot somebody again, okay, to Dow or for Dow. So this right here is not empty threats. He thinks himself to be this badass, you know what I mean? Oh, Jemaine West, who shot a minor, right? When served 8 years in prison for it, comes out and starts to cut the hair of the gay guy that he met in prison. Ain't no telling how well he met him, right? Ain't no telling. At this point, Jemaine, right, or Jameer, oh, well, damn, okay, has ran out the house crying and afraid. I wouldn't blame little Jameer, you know, young man for being afraid. I am standing at the kitchen sink, shocked and disappointed as I am still standing. Now, those are threats. You know, he can serve some time for threatening somebody like that. They consider that to be assault as well. You understand what I'm saying? I believe aggravated assault, something like that. But they, you know, like threats to kill or anything like that, that's not something you can do, right? You can't do that, you know, or anything. You know, I mean, it's a child. You get what I'm saying? He's talking to him like that. As I am still standing at the sink, Jemaine walks back in the kitchen and begins talking to me, trying to justify how he reacted to Jameer knocking his food down. He then asked me if he was wrong and how Jameer had to do it on purpose. Right now, he's justifying his actions. Okay. I took many deep breaths. Right. He's justifying his actions, not because he feels bad. He's justifying his actions so she won't tell on his ass. You understand what I'm saying? Now he's trying to pick her brain and see where she's at mentally to see if she's going to actually reveal the truth to somebody. Right. Because she is the witness. So press her. Let's press her real quick. Let me see where she's at. You know what I'm saying? Let me see where she's at mentally. I took many deep breaths. As I prayed to Yah for strength not to respond in anger. I proceeded to say, I am not in the right spirit to speak to you right now. Right. I then turned back toward the sink. As soon as I finished responding, he then blew up. You see what I'm saying? He didn't care about if this does not make him feel bad. He didn't feel remorseful. He was just picking her brain to see if she was upset, to see what she would react, how she would do, if she would want to expose him or anything like that. That's what he's checking on. He's not checking on, oh man, I feel bad for doing that. No, he didn't give a shit. He just wanted to see what she felt like so he can be able to gauge whether he's going to get exposed or not. So the moment that she's not giving him what he wants, he blows up again, yelling at me saying, what the F do you mean? You don't want to talk to me. What the F do you mean you don't want to talk to me? Oh, so because I'm not talking to him the way you like, I'm wrong. Okay, so now this is what I'm saying. He's justifying his actions and saying that he would kill the boy, rather that he would delete the boy, right? He's justifying his actions in saying this. He's justifying his action and acting out of his anger, right? After the boy caused the accident or whatever it may be. Instead of addressing the matter and reprimanding the boy in an appropriate way, like a man should do, reprimanding him, telling him to be careful, right? Things like that. He gets upset about him knocking over this cutting board with food on it. Like, this is crazy. It's not like it was a safety risk. Maybe more of a safety risk for the boy, because if there was a knife on the cutting board, he would have got hurt. He would have gotten injured. But he doesn't care about the injury that could have came to that boy. He only cares about his food being knocked on the floor, which is completely self-centered and self-absorbed. This is narcissistic personality disorder 101. Is when he do something wrong, he justifies whatever he did wrong and try to get everybody else to get on his side with it, right? And against the person that he's doing wrong to. Now, it's the boy's fault that he spoke to him that way and said that he would delete him. You understand what I'm saying? That he better get away from him or he'd delete him. Now, she's the problem because she didn't want to address it right now because she was angry. Now she's the problem. What do you mean? Because you disagree the way I spoke to him, that I'm wrong in the situation? That is absolutely... Anyways, so let's continue, y'all. Let's continue. This. Okay, hold on, wait a minute. Let me go back up. As he is saying this, what he's saying this, pacing and walling his arms and moving closer to me, I then say, all I am saying is that I am not in the right spirit to talk to you right now because I don't understand how to justify that. He is 8 years old. As he is still pacing and ranting, Brother Ray comes in the kitchen. Now he's doing this in front of other saints. He's not just doing this in front of her and the boy. Other saints are there too. And they had opportunities to calm him down. But Brother Ray, who was man enough to step in, comes in the kitchen and grabs him and holds him from coming back into the kitchen, saying to him, she's a sister, brother. She's a sister. Meaning he was so irate and so upset that he's looking like he's going to put hands on his sister. Okay. He's looking like he's going to, take out his frustration on her, whatever it may be. Maybe it's a sense of control. He wants control. So he instills the fear in order to gain the control, which, in order to still proper fear, you got to punch her. So he's trying to keep her from going in there. You understand what I'm saying? And trying to calm him down, right? From whatever he's doing. She didn't do nothing wrong. She's just sitting there telling him, listen, it's not justified. He doesn't want her to out him. And this is where he's fearful at. At this time, Sister Cameo comes in the kitchen to ask me what happened. I then explained what had taken place. Jemaine was still yelling and upset, talking to Ray, saying, who is she? To tell him she doesn't want to talk to me. Okay, so now she has no autonomy. She can't make a decision whether she wants to speak to Jemaine or not. Who are you to tell me that you don't want to talk to me? You ain't nothing but an incubator. You ain't nothing but this. This is the reason why I'm telling you this. This level of false perception of patriarchy. You understand what I'm saying? This is what it'll have you do. That rhetoric, that teaching, those sermons will puff your mind up in such a way that you read this, right? Jemaine West has his mind so puffed up that he says that she doesn't even have the right to say that she doesn't want to talk to him in a bad spirit, right? She don't got the right to say that, right? Sister Cameo then sent me upstairs until things cooled down, and she went to find my son. This took place about 8 to 10 months after my son and I moved into the assembly. This is about 8 to 10 months. Okay, they moved into the assembly. I believe they were doing homesteading. From this first situation, with Jemaine, fear had sat in over me and my son. I never wanted to say or do anything to disagree or question him on the things he did or said because there was always backlash or uprising. Okay. Now, this is that false patriarchy, that false sense of patriarchy, that man, I'm the man. This is what they get from Dow. This is the energy that's siphoned. He tells them these things, but never truly teaches them how to do it in love. Okay. So they run off and they do everything with an iron fist and anger and malice and ill will and hate and murder. The same spirits that literally will ooze out of him. This is the personification of what manifests in these men. A lot of them, many of them. I can tell you this much, that when I started to learn more about the patriarchy complex from Dow, I myself was hardness of heart, callous. I wasn't this extreme. Okay. Never was this extreme. You understand what I'm saying? But I was a ruling with an iron fist in my home. That's what it was. It wasn't a loving manner at all. It wasn't in a teaching manner. It was a iron fist mentality. I gotta take control. I gotta take the ring. I gotta be me. I, me in this whole situation, and not a team thing. So my thing is this, right? This is a severe case of what you're witnessing in this teaching of patriarchy. This is a severe case of it. You understand what I'm saying? He is going as far as stripping her autonomy away from her completely. You know what I mean? And she can't say anything. Not only that, he's looking to outwardly show a force of aggression of a murderous spirit, of a spirit that literally wants to harm and hurt individuals, literally saints. You understand what I'm saying? Children. This is what he outwards displays of. Okay. This is a severe case of this false patriarchy in this ministry. This is a severe case. And Dow knows about this stuff. Becker knew about this stuff. They all knew what was taking place. It's going to get worse, y'all. This is just the tip of the iceberg. It's going to get worse. They chose to do nothing about it. In fact, this is the exact reason why Dow continuously says on camera for you all to know that he is not involved with the day-to-day in these homesteads, in these communities. He doesn't even talk to them. He has nothing to associate with them about. He has nothing to do with them because allegations like this come out, things come out like this. Guess what? He will be on the hot seat. They will be investigating him. So he wants to be sure he alleviates himself from any wrongdoing, even though he knows everything that's going on with Jemaine West, even though he knows everything that's poor that is happening in these communities, to these children, to these people, right? To these single mothers, to these women in general. He knows it all. Once it's been raised to them, brought to their attention, they sweep it under the rug. They ignore you. You won't hear nothing from Dow, from Becker, from any of them, right? Becker's gone now. From Dow, from Bud, whoever else he puts in charge, you won't hear nothing from them. They're not going to do anything to help you. It is empty promises. They tell you, oh, snitch game strong. You go to use your snitch game, right? And your ass get thrown under the bus. That's exactly what will happen. And then good luck for the rest of your career with Straitway Truth Ministries, because eventually you're going to get kicked out, put out, whatever else, before they actually ostracize you, condemn you, and then stomp and put their foot on your neck. You understand what I'm saying? Treat you like a doormat. Treat you like you're beneath a slave, like you're less than cattle, like you're a dog. Now you got to do everything to make up and kiss their ass, right? This is what this is. That is what you're going to face. So the best thing for you to do is shut your mouth, go along, get along, no matter what wickedness you see, right? This gets worse. This highlighted part, y'all gonna want to hear it, okay? A few months later, I verbally corrected my then 2-year-old daughter. Okay, she was 2 years old at the time. My then 2-year-old daughter, and she began to cry after I had instructed her to then go upstairs. As she is walking past Bro Jemaine, he begins to yell at her, saying, "Shut up, shut up." She's 2 years old. She is 2 years old. He's yelling at this little girl, this younger lady, this little girl, telling her to shut up repeatedly. Shut up, shut up. He then paused for a second and stood up in front of her. Once she doesn't stop crying, right? Once she doesn't stop crying, he then grabs her by her ankles upside down, whoops her behind, and from his arm's height, okay, she's 2 years old. He's dropping this young girl from about 6 feet, okay? Let's say that. Let's say she's about 6 feet in the air, okay? Dangling from her ankles, okay? Right? She's arm's height. He then does what? He drops her on her head to the floor. So he drops her then on her head. Now he drops her. She hits her head on the floor from this height. You understand what I'm saying? I couldn't believe what happened. Y'all got to let that sink in for a minute. I can't believe that. Held her up at least close to 6 feet in the air. Okay. Whoops her, right? First of all, shouts at her, shut up, shut up. You understand what I'm saying? Whoops her. Doesn't try to teach her self-control. Doesn't try to teach her how control her emotions. He grabs this girl, holds her up close to 6 feet in the air, whoops her, then he drops her on her head. This coward, this dog of a man, this scoundrel, what a piece of trash. What a big man you are, shooting minors, dropping them on their head. What, you just such a big man, ain't you, Jemaine West? Bragging about shooting minors. Telling 10-year-olds that you kill them, that you hurt them, that you delete them. Telling 10-year-olds. And then this is the type of stuff he goes and brags about. He brags about this type of behavior. Dow knows about this. Becker knew about this. Neither of them did anything to stop it. Did they get involved? No. Did they shut down that homestead? No. They did nothing. Nothing. This is what you got to look forward to. Let you be a single mother in this ministry. Let you be a single brother in this ministry. Let you be a man with a family in this ministry. They'll justify Jemaine West doing this to your child, saying that the child deserved it and he was back in their old home. If we're back in our old land, the child would have had worse. This is the type of rhetoric you got to look forward to. This is what you got to look forward to right here. A little girl, 2 years old, being told to shut up, shouting it at the top of his lungs, grabbing this 2-year-old girl by her ankles, holding her at least 6 feet in the air, spanking her, then dropping her from that height on her head. And you wonder why I'm still making videos. And you wonder why I'm still talking about Straitway. And you wonder why I'm exposing this junk, this crap. You still are wondering why you're in my live stream talking about this is a gay stream. You're still wondering. You're still there. If this doesn't make you grow some balls and talk about a testimony, I don't know what is or what will. People can't endure this. You can't just allow people to go in there and suffer through this without warning them. This is the type of shit you're going to do with your own personal testimony. They can't say things like this to me. They can't say, oh, well, you never put boots on the ground. They can't say it. They could say it to Ringo. They could say it to Rollo. They could say it to New Breed. They can say it to all the rest of these individuals who are speaking on the wickedness going on the Straitway, right? Oh, well, that's because you never met the man. You didn't put boots on the ground. But what if they can't? They don't have that argument. The new argument is, well, we too busy working to do live streams 3, 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours long. Now that's the new rhetoric. While the ex-members, right, are dealing with Stockholm syndrome and trying to stop the shedding of the light on wickedness, bringing forth the truth and unrighteousness. trying to save people's families from going into this BS, right? And being separated. Their protector, Dow, making a public spectacle of him, making him look like less than a man, and enticing his woman to leave him, to remove the protector out of the home, and then allow her to wallow and grift and drift around in this ministry from one leader to the next until she finds somebody else to somewhat cover her. And then next thing you know, that covering ain't adequate covering. You understand what I'm saying? Or Dow just takes her for himself, uses her and discards her and gives her to somebody else. Brainwaves. Nobody put boots on the ground till now. They don't got that. You hear that rhetoric anymore? Oh, there's no boots on the ground. They ain't come put no boots on the ground. You don't hear that no more. The boots on the ground argument is gone. Now it's, oh man, who's gonna make a live stream about a man? 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll do it just fine. You feel me? And I do it with joy, gladness, and heart. I'll peel back the layers. And guess what? I'll start doing 10-hour live streams. You keep it up. Keep talking. Keep talking, Dial. And all the rest of you little minions over there. The rest of you gumpies and gagglers. Y'all keep talking. I'll go 10 hours. I might hit a whole 24-hour stream. Just do a replay on one of my ones who just exposing the wickedness of Dow. I might throw that joint on replay and let that joint replay for 24 hours straight. Keep talking about how long these live streams are. I don't mind. Other people don't mind either. That's why they leave in your ministry. Some people just don't mind. I'll cut it up, chop it up, put it in sections for you guys so y'all can come back, rewatch. You know what I'm saying? I'll do the best I can. You know, I'll be busy. But I'm not going to make an excuse of being busy, right? To be sure that I can free a soul. I can save a soul. You understand what I'm saying? That's not an excuse. The show must go on. Shall we begin? Yes, we shall begin. We're going to start right here with Jemaine West as well, right? So Jemaine West picks this little girl up, drops her on the head. We already know what's going on. Listen, the little girl just needed this to be reprimanded, needed to be taught. This is a 2-year-old child. You understand what I'm saying? They're learning. They're still in the stages of learning. They're still processing. Sometimes, yeah, you got to be firm. You got to be consistent. But shouting, shut up, right? Shut up, spanking them, raising them all the way up, almost nearly 6 feet in the air, spanking them, dropping them on their head. None of that helps. None of that actually helps at all with a 2-year-old child. You understand what I'm saying? Oh, that's abuse. You understand? Flat out. And for Dow and for Becker and for the rest of these individuals who knew about this situation and circumstance, to turn a blind eye and not do anything about this is wicked. I don't know what type of pull Jermaine got over there, but this right here would have been shut down. That's why I wouldn't have survived in Straitway, because shit like this, it wouldn't have been flying with me. You understand what I'm saying? Don't put me in a position of leadership at Straitway. I promise you, we would have all kind of problems, all kind of issues, because, you know, wicked is wicked. I'm sorry. That's just how I've always been. You know, it is what it is. If we got some kickback, pushback, if I'm going to receive some backlash because I got an opinion, I got a position on something like this, I don't care. You understand what I'm saying? I'll weigh my options and we'll go to war. It's just that simple. Yeah. So let's go ahead and continue, y'all. I know I got on a little rant, but this is crazy. This right here should have people in an uproar. We should be protesting. We should be doing all that we need to do to be sure that Straitway is going to collapse and crumble underneath the feet of the House of Dow. Based on this one little testimony, this child should influence you. This child who suffered this 2-year-old little girl who suffered this should inspire you, influence you to spark a whole new flame and bring it down the corrupt satanic cult of Straitway. You should be in arms and uproar of hearing this particular testimony. They got a lot to answer to now. Why didn't you do anything about it, Dow? Why are you constantly talking about something so you can relieve yourself of all guilt on any investigations of child abuse? Why are you doing that? Oh, I don't know nothing about what they do. I barely even talk to them. Yeah, you wicked. You know exactly what's going on behind the scenes. You choose to ignore it. I look around the room as I ran over to pick her up off the floor, and everyone was quiet. All of these people just sitting there quiet. Didn't stop it, didn't say nothing, didn't intervene just yet. That's crazy. Was quiet and got up off the couch and went into the kitchen or the bathroom. So they all removed themselves. Y'all all just as guilty. Every single last one of you who sat there and watched Jemaine do this to this child, y'all all are wicked as hell and guilty. You're going to bear that iniquity, that sin. What does it say? Suffer not the little ones. You think that this child was suffering? Come on now. You witnessed this take place and you got up and left and you went into the other room, right? You went into the bedroom and you went into the kitchen. Y'all dispersed. As I picked her up off the floor, he said, "She all right. I didn't drop her that high. She all right." As I began to respond to him, I just started to burst out in tears, crying, saying, "What do you mean? She is only 2. What do you mean? She is only 2. How could you do something like that to a child? Right? How could you do something like that to a child? That's crazy." I then say to him, there is nothing she did that warranted how you just treated her. Absolutely. There is absolutely nothing that she did. She was being a 2-year-old. You understand what I'm saying? It did not warrant you doing this to a child. Do you think that this mother is lying? Y'all think that she bearing false witness? Do y'all think that she's bearing false witness? Do you think that she's lying about this account, about these many accounts, right? She's got quite a few of them right now, not only against herself, but her son, who was 10 years old at the time, and her 2-year-old daughter, right? Who's come to this ministry seeking refuge, right? Seeking men who can lead and guide her 10-year-old, who can teach and develop him and mold and shape him into a man of the Most High, into a man of faith. Right. This is what her hopes is, that she would have that structure, that guidance, that leadership in this particular safety, this safety of a so-called ministry. This is what she was expecting. She was expecting the love. She was expecting the guidance coming from the men. She was expecting these things, and she was met with absolute opposite. She was met with pain. She was met with sorrow. Do you believe that she may have bitterness in her own heart toward this particular situation, making it difficult to forgive? Making it hard to trust men. You understand what I'm saying? This is what she was met with. She was met with this level of wickedness, and people stood by idly and watched this take place. They went into the kitchen, they went into the bedroom, and only one individual so far in this whole community, right? Brother Ray was the only one who stepped up at some point to get him to calm down a bit. And it wasn't even based on the situation with the child. If somebody witnessed this young girl, this 2-year-old daughter, get dropped on her head, why wouldn't you step in and talk to this man, put hands on this man? You understand what I'm saying? Whoop his ass. You understand what I'm saying? That was uncalled for. He deserved to get his ass whooped. 110%. I'll say it to your face. You understand what I'm saying? You deserve to get your ass whooped because you dropped this 2-year-old girl on her head. You want to pick her up and spank her for what? Because she's crying? She's 2. Teach her self-control. At 2 years old, there's ways to teach self-control. This is not the way. This is a way to get your ass whooped, though. If there's a man who's man enough to step up to somebody dropping a 2-year-old girl on her head. But this is what you got to face as a single mother in this ministry. Guess what? You face being belittled, being lesser than everybody else. Nobody cares about your position. You got no protector. There's no head over you. You got no protector. I bet anything that he wouldn't have touched this little girl if her father was in this ministry with her. I bet anything he wouldn't have touched her. He would have left it up to the father. You know why? Because the level of threat would have been present. Men understand men, right? There's only so far a conversation can go before we start to meet that with violence. You understand what I'm saying? And I guarantee you that this right here would have been met with force. It would have been met with violence if this young girl's father was in the picture. This is why it's so important. This is why it's so important to have a male figure in your world to protect you, to provide for you, to do the things that's needed. Because men like Jemaine West, who are predators, will prey on you and your children because you got no covering, you got no headship, you got nobody to protect you, right? And you're vulnerable. So they plan on the vulnerability of you. And you're just trying to do the best you can to submit to the Father, to submit to this ministry, to give your all, to be talked about in the best light. This is what your heart's desire is. You understand what I'm saying? But this is just a taste of what some of these individuals had to go through. This is what they had to go through. Right? Let's continue, y'all. Let's continue. This is crazy. After her getting corrected, no, that wasn't no correction. After her getting corrected, she was already crying and you were yelling at her. She got corrected by her. She got corrected by her mother and she was already crying. And then Jemaine starts to scare her even more, starts to yell at her. He starts yelling at her. And with you being a man, she doesn't know yet. She is afraid. She don't know him like that for him to be yelling at her. So she's afraid now. And she's probably crying even more. As I'm still crying, trying to talk to he. Then, okay, as I'm still crying, trying to talk, he then says, okay, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. Come here. I'm in. And begins to kiss and hug her, saying that he was sorry. Then also asked me to come to him, and he apologized and said he would never do it again. A month later, I was walking upstairs to put my daughter to bed, and I hear Jemaine beginning to discipline my son through physical exercise. Next thing I know, I hear him crying out. I hear him crying out. I hear him crying out. I hear some commotion. I hear some commotion in the living room, and when I finally get back downstairs, Jameer is sitting against the wall, the wall squatting. My apologies. There's no punctuation. This shit is my apologies, y'all. All right, sitting in the wall squatting, in the wall squat. He was sitting in the wall squat. All right, in the wall squat position, breathing heavy, with blood rolling down his face. Okay, Jameer has come to me many times, questioning why he was alive, and began to speak death over himself. So now you got this young boy who's contemplating self-deletion, okay? And he's wondering why he's still alive. This is the type of environment, the toxic environment that they're in, and under the guidance of Jemaine West. Somebody who shot a 17-year-old boy and bragged about it, right? Who shot him, served 8 years in prison, right? For felonious assault, and bragged about shooting him years later, right? Unreprimanded, uncorrected. This is what you're witnessing here. Saying, okay, so the young boy is saying things like, it would be better if he wasn't alive and he doesn't care about his life. Now, this is what is developing when you have a madman who is running the ship, steering the ship. You understand what I'm saying? I know this is hard to listen to, y'all. I know this is difficult to hear. This 10-year-old boy was thinking and contemplating self-deletion. and how much pain and how much struggle he was going through. You got to understand that this is your own boy who's going through it. He's without his father. He might be acting out because of that alone. Jemaine West is somebody who's supposed to be a father figure in his life and decides to be a menace, to be a tyrant. You understand what I'm saying? He sees the level of threat, and he can't protect his mother or his young sister. So he's questioning his worth. He's questioning his value because his ability to protect them, he can't. He doesn't have the strength. He's not old enough. He didn't know what to do. He feels helpless. And you'll find this from many men. Men literally will bust out in tears because they have no control over a situation because of the simple fact that they could not save someone, that they could not help them. It's their basic instinct to protect the women in their family. You understand what I'm telling you? So you see this boy suffering from that, the identity, the level of influence, right, and psychological trauma that he's under, and being under this roof with Jemaine West, being under this guidance with Jemaine West, it is taking a toll on his body, on his spirit, in this ministry, under the leadership of Dow, who's instructing these men to be patriarchies, right, in such a way, in such a fashion that they're overcompensating, that they're now becoming tyrants and brute beasts. No guidance. As long as he has control over the men, that's all he cares about. He don't care about them becoming cold at heart. He doesn't care about that. During a visit with brother Greg, I'm believing, and his family, Jemaine blew up at Jameer for telling me something he had said to him in front of the whole house. Has he stand in front of him and begins to say, your mama can't save you. Your mama can't save you from me. So we got even more trauma, even more fear that he's instilling in these individuals. Your mama can't save you from me. What you think your mama gonna check me on? What I said to you. See you think you special. You ain't special. Don't nobody care about you. Why would you say this to a boy? You're supposed to be a man of valor. You're supposed to be some sort of leader in Straitway. You're supposed to be having honor and integrity and all this other junk that y'all talk about over there. But this is what y'all doing. This is what y'all allowing to go forth. This is what y'all allowing to do. He's in front of everybody, the whole house, saying this to this young boy. And if we got a problem with this, listen, I got witnesses, and we're going to bring forth those witnesses next. Maybe not this stream, but the next time I come on, I'm going to have witnesses to bring to you. Somebody in a firsthand account who spoke about this situation and confirms everything this young lady is saying to be facts, to be truth. Okay. Somehow began saying, you think your daddy gonna come save you? What you don't want to hear is that your daddy is a bitch ass nigga, and he ain't here because he don't want nothing to do with you. Jameer, I promise you, let somebody say that to my son or my daughter, and I'll get wind of it. They tell me that he said it. Listen, I'm just saying. Yeah. Don't let me hear somebody saying this to my son, my daughter, my children. You better not ever say nothing like this. Because listen, you're gonna have all kind of problems for me. We're gonna have some real issues. That's out of line. That's out of pocket. So you tearing down every sense of protection that this young boy could have in his life. You're tearing it all down. He has no safety. There's no way that he can hide from you. You're a bully. You're a thug. You're a beast. It is what it is, and you're making this child suffer. Better for a millstone to be tied about your neck. You understand what I'm saying? It says, suffer not the little ones. And here he is suffering. This is not a rod. You understand what I'm saying? This is not sparing a rod. This is not what you're looking at. You're not looking at scriptures manifesting in right now to where it's like, oh, you spare the rod, spoil the child. None of that. You understand what I'm saying? This is not the rod of correction. This is a flat out abuse. This is beast behavior. You understand what I'm saying? Jameer was so broken and expressed again to me that he didn't feel safe here and don't understand what he did to make Papa hate him so much. How much more we gotta shout this from the wilderness? A lot of us who have been speaking on Straitway in the wickedness. How much more we got to continue to talk about this and tell you, like, this is what you're going to experience. This is what you're going to witness. This is a firsthand account that's been written, right? Emailed to Elder Becker, a firsthand account. This is somebody who's actively going through the trauma. What do you think is going to happen when shit hits the fan? You think this is not going to be an abundance throughout all these communities being treated like this? Don't let you be a single mother. Don't let you be a mother with children, right, in the family, and then the man gets falsely accused, put out from among you, right? And they seize you and the children because y'all technically they property now because he signed a contract to live on the community. Oh, we keeping your wife and your children. Those are your assets. You said you're giving them to the foundation. We're gonna keep them. You understand what I'm saying? So we're gonna keep them. You understand what I'm saying? Now they're stuck there being treated like this while the man is either eliminated or put out from amongst the community. This is the level of treatment they may receive. You gotta consider this. Is this a safe place, a safe environment? Is it a healthy environment for you and your family? Is it a healthy environment for you? Period. Now, if you're a single woman who's of marriageable age, right? They'll probably treat you well just because they want to get you a husband. They want to make one of the men happy, maybe Kabir or somebody else who they want to keep around for longer, right? You might be a single woman with a child and you are an attractive woman. They might try to keep you happy, do what they can to please you, to keep you in the ministry. But guess what? You might not experience anything, but they want to get you with one of these men to keep them happy, to keep them a part of the assembly, keep them part of the cult, to keep them happy, to feed them with more vessels or incubators, to have more children. You understand what I'm saying? You might not mind it from Kabir, right? You might not mind being one of his incubators, to develop one of his 94 children he's looking to have. You might not mind it. But if you're being treated like trash, then you probably would mind it a little bit more. I'm going to stop here, y'all. And this account, man, listen, we'll come back and read it, the rest of it. And I'll have a couple of other testimonies coming from a few other people who witnessed this take place. And we'll finish this out. We'll finish this story out. But right now, I'm going to drop the link in the chat. I know a few people asked. And if you're still with us here, you can come and speak on this particular situation or whatever you'd like to talk about in regards to this. We're going to be landing this plane very soon here. So here's